So this is a call mainly meant to um, put more information out there, especially what the MVP program is, and also at the same time to try and mentor few of us or everyone in this call who is thinking of becoming an MVP one day, maybe tomorrow or next month or next year, and how you can prepare yourself towards this. I think it's one of those calls which you don't get a lot. So I thought it's good before we end this year. We can have a talk about this so that coming next year you can prepare yourself and maybe say, you know what, on October I want to be an MVP. So starting January, you have almost like 5 to 6 months to prepare yourself in advance and put your contributions in the right order. So let's continue. So my name is Kevin. I'm a Microsoft MVP and web development at Azure Cosmos DB. I'm also a technical trainer at Teach to Give. So today I'm going to talk more of MVP than the technical trainer thing because that's the agenda of today. So talking about the agenda, we're going to talk about what is the MVP program, the type of questions I should ask you as a gold or normal student ambassador or anyone who is in the tech community who is passionate about um, becoming an MVP. So these are the questions I'll share with you, which I'll ask you definitely if you want me to nominate you to become an MVP. We shall talk about contributions of potential MVPs. So if you're a potential MVP, which contributions should you have? We are also going to talk about the review process so that you know that this is how things are done behind the scene. Um, I'm also going to give like a simple definition of who are the future MVPs so that you might put your mindset in that, like, you know, I'm a future MVP, so this is what I should be doing. Um, I'm also going to talk about the nominee insights, kind of do's and don'ts during the nomination journey, and we shall see in details what those are. And lastly, I'll talk about how you can improve your chances of becoming an MVP. Um, but this is, I want to put this as a disclaimer. This is not like a cheat sheet of becoming an MVP. This is more of like you knowing how things work in the MVP program and preparing yourself in advance to answer these. And the first thing which should come in your mind is you should be passionate about technology, especially Microsoft products. And the second thing which should come in your head is about the community. So if you're passionate about the tech, when I talk about tech, it's Microsoft products. The second thing is, are you passionate about educating the community around you? So if you have these two attributes, then you're a future MVP. And with that, I think we can start talking about what is the MVP program. So what is the MVP program? So the MVP program is a community of passionate and technical influencers that advocate for Microsoft products. But that's not all. Um, these are the guys who contribute to the ecosystem and also they cultivate the local communities. So both these two things go hand in hand. So you are contributing to the ecosystem of Microsoft products by sharing your knowledge about these products. And also at the same time, you're growing your community. The other thing is you provide frontline feedback that influences Microsoft engineering investment. So Microsoft MVPs, they give feedback to the product teams who are developing these products and by doing so, they are kind of providing this frontline kind of feedback between the community and the Microsoft engineers so that they can know what the community need. So this program, if you have never heard of it, it is 30 years old. So if you're an MVP at 2024, just know 30 years ago, that's when the program started. So, and this community has over 4,000 community leaders, so who are across 95 countries. Talking about numbers, the MVP program has 3,750 MVPs currently. 700 has been onboarded in this year, which is now coming to an end. We have ladies who are 19%, and as you can see, we are in 96 countries. Okay. And we have 49 languages which are spoken in this community. Something which I would like to share mostly is you can see continent Africa, we have the least amount of MVPs. So we have like 3%, which shows that the program needs more initiative calls to try and mentor future MVPs so that we can get this number up. And that is the first thing I'm doing in this call. It's trying to put you into this mindset where you can think of, hey, I need to be an MVP now because I'm passionate. I'm also interested in the community. So let's first, even before we talk about anything else, I think we can go through the award categories and the technology areas. For example, I have been awarded in the data platform award category and developer technologies award category. So in the developer technologies award categories, there are technology areas, and I know you guys are familiar with these when you're submitting your events in the MLSA website. So I personally, under the developer technologies, I'm an MVP for web development. So developer technology is the award category. Web development is a technology area. So under data platforms, on the other hand, data platforms is the award category, which I'm part of. And the technology area is Cosmos DB. So when I say I'm an MVP for web development and Cosmos DB, I'm talking about two award categories, which in those two award categories, I'm part of two technology areas. You see, sometimes you find MVPs who are like part of one award category. That means they are part of one technology area. So I want to try to expound on this. So these are the award categories. For example, we have AI, business applications, cloud and data center, and also we have technology areas. These are things I know you are familiar with. So if you want to become an MVP for AI, you have to go into these technology areas and major with one. Okay, that's all it takes. And we shall see which are these contributions which you can make on this technology area, which can later manifest your potential of becoming an MVP. So there are many. I can't explain everything. Probably if you need to if you need more information about a certain technology area which you're interested in, I can share more information on how you can get this done, probably via any social media you want me to interact you with. So that should not be an issue. I know I have some folks here who have done a lot of Power Platform and Power Automate. So those are technology areas under business applications. So let's go next. So data platform, for example, I'm part of data platform. As you can see, I have done major contributions on Azure Cosmos DB. I've written blogs about Azure Cosmos DB. I've helped my friends. We have worked with my friends to create blogs under Azure Cosmos DB. I've created events under Cosmos DB. So those are some of the contributions I have done on Azure Cosmos DB. But you can go ahead and create, or you can learn these things. Not things, but technology areas. You can learn one of them or many, but we shall see why you should not learn everything. You should focus on at most two, because that is the maximum number you can be nominated for. So if you want to go hard on data platforms, you can choose one or you can choose two, but you can't go beyond two technology areas. Cool. Developer technologies. I'm under web development because I've created content on web development. That is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Angular. Anything which works with JavaScript and HTML and CSS is under web development. So if you're doing things to do with .NET, that is Blazor, ASP.NET, minimalistic APS, ASP.NET, all those goes under .NET. Java, Azure DevOps, developer tools like VS Code, Python, Django, they all go under Python there. Cool. There are other areas like Internet of Things. So if you're interested in creating those Internet of Things tools which are consuming Azure Edge devices or consuming Azure Internet of Things services and development. So you can go for that. And also, if you think you can create content around Microsoft Access and other tools like Word, Excel, OneDrive, Microsoft Graph, those are under M365. There's a gold ambassador who goes on in his country. I can't remember his name, but he is, I don't know whether Kemboy, can you remind me his name? He is training like 400 to I think 100 to 400 teachers in his country on Microsoft 365, and he is a gold MLSA. So such kind of a person will soon become an MVP if he apply for an MVP or someone nominates him under Microsoft 365. I think he can become an MVP. He's doing something cool. Um, so Microsoft Azure, I think this is like the OG MVPs. Most of them are Microsoft Azure MVPs. These days there are new things like Azure application, which is PaaS. We also have Azure compute infrastructure, and other things to do with infrastructure, which is like on premise and also on Azure. So if this is your thing or you like creating scripts to do, everything, I think Microsoft Azure is something cool to think about as being a technology which you can be nominated. The other things like security, also Windows development and Windows and devices. So I don't know everything about this, which is the cool part of being an MVP. You don't have to focus with everything. You just need to focus with at most two technology areas and at most two award categories. So that is when I mean at most is that you cannot be nominated for more than two award categories. So it's either two or one. And in each award category, you can only be nominated at most two technology areas. So you can be an MVP under AI and be nominated for Azure AI Services and Azure AI Studio, but not more than that. And if per award category you're being nominated for two technology areas, you cannot be nominated for another award category. So at the end of the day, focus on technology areas. I hope that makes sense. So we can simplify this and say, as an MVP, you can only be nominated for at most 2 technology areas. It's as simple as that. So whether it's Azure AI services and Power Apps, that's it. Or you can be nominated for one. Cool. Um, I think we can jump on to the questions before nomination. So what I mean by this is, I know a lot of us are happy to be nominated to become an MVP. So before even I nominate you as an MVP, there are those questions which I'll ask you. Okay. For example, what are the interests in Microsoft products ecosystem which you have done something on? That will be my first question so that I can understand your background. Again, this question iterates back to the technology areas and back to impact you have done on these technology areas. So if you can be able to answer that first question, then I'll jump to the second question, like in the last 12 months, which are these technical contributions that you have done? So you're supposed to pick your best contributions on this. So these contributions should be between 10 to 20 or 10 to 15. So you need to share with me like, hey, I have done this, I have done that, I have done this, and these are my best. And we shall soon talk about which are your best um, contributions, because best contributions, that is just a naive name to say. It's more of like impactful contributions, which we are going to talk in a couple of slides. So tell me about the products you're interested in. Show me the contributions you have been doing in the last 12 months, and then I can check them out. And if they are good, I'll nominate you for an MVP. That it's as simple as that. There's nothing else. These are the questions which I'll ask you. These are the questions which any MVP will ask you. Any Microsoft employee will ask you. So you can't fake them. Whether you know these 3 questions, it doesn't matter. What matters is you have these contributions. What are these contributions? So sometimes it's hard, you'll find people who are passionate about tech, but they are not sure what they need to do or what they need to organize themselves into so that they can call them contributions. So I have them here. So we have community organizers. So these are guys who are, they are doing good things in the community. For example, user groups, community-based events. They are the organizers. They are the guys who push people to join the cause, push people to do this. They are active in the user groups. They are the leads in these user groups. Note, there is nowhere on that list which says that you need to be an MLSA. Nope. Being an MLSA does not guarantee you to become an MVP. Because if that's the case, all MLSAs, all gold MLSAs will become MVPs. Do we have some questions on the chat?
Yes, Samuel type of question is contributing through creating YouTube Reels allowed?
Contributing through YouTube Reels. So this will go back to your contribution. Does it go back to Microsoft products? And I'll answer this, but this question will be answered once we go through this contribution, this slide, which is here. So if your reel is dealing with these things which we are going to talk about in this slide, then that is a valid contribution. Okay, so I have just explained about community organizers. I hope this is understood. So if you are in meetup page for my user group or the MLSA user group meetup, which I think every MLSA is part of, the likes of me, I think Humphrey, leads there, and also in my user group Kenya Data Platform. I'm the founder and I also have some leads who are very active in that community. So if you are part of a community and you are among the organizers, so how do you become even an organizer? So you must participate, you must be active in that uh, community so that the community leads can make you an organizer. You don't just become an organizer, you must be active in that user group. You must work with those guys, you must team up, you must host events with them, you must host workshops with them until they are like, hey, these guys should be a lead. So that's what I mean. So if you're a community organizer, that's a good contribution. That's something you can add as part of your contribution. Content creators. So I'm also a content creator, not probably in YouTube, but I write a lot of blogs. When we talk about blogs or when we talk about videos, think of I don't want to talk about the impact first, but we shall talk about them and how you can measure your impact. But write blogs, whether it's on Medium, whether it's on Hashnode, make sure there's somewhere you can track the number of views, the number of comments. That's how you measure the impact of your blog or your video. The number of likes, the number of viewers, the number of comments. These are what we call metrics. You can measure the impact of your blog by the number of views, by the number of likes, by the number of comments. Comments bring engagement. So put your mindset into that. You don't just write a blog and then it has one view and then you think that that is impactful. That is not impactful. Cool. One view, it's not impactful. But if the blog has one view and maybe it has 100 comments, it kind of be impactful in a way that it's engaging. So, but views are good. Okay. So in content creator, how many views are expected? So there is no number of views to make sure something is like um, expected to be like, hey, I have a video which has 10 views. That these views, you see, these the type of things I can't be able to answer because only the ones who review these things know like, hey, this is impactful enough or this is not impactful. But I think if you have high numbers, it's good. High numbers start from greater than one, right? Yeah, so don't don't do not just feel bad that you have blogs with 10 views or 20. I think you just need to create a community around the content you're creating, and if it's good, you still have numbers. Cool. You can also write books, or you can help in producing you can help in video production, probably in Microsoft website, not website, but YouTube pages, which is very rare unless you are working with people in MS, and also in live streams. You can help in live streams. For example, if you have chances to go to the ADC, you can help to do these kind of things which are more technical. We shall talk about technical, why MVPs are technical first, and then other things. So influencers are active on social media with large base of followers. So this is an area which all MVPs are part of, because how are you going to build a community if you can't influence people on social media? So you have to think of something you like and then build your community towards that. So that's why we have a list of so many things you can do in MLSA. So it's upon you to um, try and build a community to answer that. And if you are lucky to join user groups, you will find that there's a community already there for you. Okay. So it's all about you creating content in that community. As simple as that. So I'm an influencer. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I can't go a day without going to LinkedIn. Eh? That's so hard for me. I have to go to LinkedIn and check things. So I write blogs. That is me being part of the content creator. Um, I lead a user group. That is me being part of the community organizer. So you can do everything here, or you can do just two things, or you can do one and be good at it. Okay. Um, let's talk about public speakers. So these are guys who speak in Reactor. When I talk of Reactor, anyone who is an MLSA knows that it's a YouTube channel in MS where people are allowed to host events there, which are live. So if you're a public speaker on a Reactor in MS, that's a good thing. If you don't get chance to do that, there's also local events where you are a speaker, you're invited, for example, into Kenya Data Platform, and then we have a physical event, you're a speaker for that, or we have an online on a hybrid event, you speak on that kind of event, you're a public speaker. Global events, for example, Humphrey, I know he hosts most of the events on Microsoft ADC. For example, the Ignite After Party, those are global events, okay? Uh, let's talk about mentor. I know in the MLSA there is the mentorship program where you're supposed to mentor um, the next, is it alpha to beta students? I think so. But when I talk about mentor these days, um, it doesn't just limit you to that. You can mentor people to do the startups and I'm forgetting the name. There's this program and I can't see any member on this call who is part of it actively. Um, but they mentor people to, you mentor students to start their startup applications, which sometimes even this idea started with uh, Imagine Cup. You are given credits under Founders Hub, and then you are mentored to start a startup. So these days you can mentor people to create a startup on the Founders Hub. So if this is something you are doing, it's part of the contribution. So you're mentoring people. Let's say you have like 20 people you have mentored to start their project on Founders Hub. That's so good. Okay. You can also do local peer groups mentorship. For example, in Kirinyaga University, they had I don't know that it's still ongoing, but they had this mentorship where um, students were mentoring other students, but the type of mentorship was based on software development. So you're mentoring people to become software engineers. So if you can be able to showcase that you did this and you have evidence of a link of something you did, that is mentorship. And all other things I'm talking about, I have talked about on this list. Make sure that you have a link. Make sure you have receipts to showcase that you did these things. Okay. Let's talk about helpers. So there are those guys who are technical. They are good. They know things to do with like Azure Cosmos DB. And in the forums, you find people having some issues. They have questions to do with a bug they are facing. So if this is something you like to do, that is a good contribution. So you're helping people who are using a certain product and they have issues, they have bugs, they are stuck somewhere. You answer a question which a moderator approves as a correct answer. That's a good contribution. So you other areas you can contribute is to Microsoft Learn. So Microsoft Learn has some issues, just like any other documentation. So you might find typos, you might find um, outdated information about products. You raise that to relevant people, and then that is counted as a contribution. So it's also good. So open source supporters. So these are the folks who are developers who are serious in coding and maintaining projects. So you're working with a crowd advocate. She wants you to create a sample for a certain product. Okay, that's an open source contribution. That is a good open source contribution. So if you appear in any Microsoft or any Microsoft product related project in GitHub, where you are part of the contributors there, I know you guys know where the contributors are. You are an open source contributor or maintainer. That is a contribution which Microsoft products are looking for. So if you contribute on Azure Cosmos DB, you have a contribution on uh, that technology area. So talking about these things, I hope I have tried to answer most of things, and this is now we are going to base our mindset on these 8 ways you can contribute to MVP program. So speaking about community organizers, um, I'm part of this user group. I forgot to add one of us here. He's called Rihan. So I'll fix this right, but he's supposed to be here. Um, and the rest are here: Tiffany, Dennis, Frecia, Brian, and Rehan. Um, we are part of Kenya Data Platform user group, so we are open to more leads, open to anyone who wants to join us. These are our social medias. So if you're active on our user group, this is a contribution as we have spoken about. Okay. Um, how did we start this? I think we started our user group before I was an MVP, and we were working on Cosmos DB procs. I think that's the first project we worked on. So we wrote like 8 procs with these members, and this it was so good that these are one of my strongest contributions, which I shared when I was being nominated for MVP. So they are contributors in that project. So when they have enough contributions, they can go ahead to be nominated under the categories they want. You can join us, you can be a lead, you can be a member. We are open to both of them. Cool. So let's talk about the review process. Um, the the review process, I know it's not something you should think about. It's it's not something you should think about because you should be thinking of how you can make good contributions, not about who is going to review, but to just put it out there. Um, the product group which your technology area is based on will check your contributions. So for example, I'm a Cosmos DB uh, MVP and a web. So the Cosmos DB team checked my contributions. It's as simple as that. So these are the folks like the product managers, the leads, the crowd advocates, whoever is on that team will check your contribution. Before even it arrives to product team, it have to go through the CPM, so the community program managers. For example, in our EMEA region, it's Martin Defane. So Martin Defane probably will check your contribution. So that's why you find most gold MLSAs become MVP because their contributions are seen even before they become MVPs. So Martin Defane will, in one way or the other, hear about you in the goal course, see you on the contribution, on the sharing ID list. You're among the top 5. So these people will know you even before you are nominated, so which is a good thing. So also business group leads, they will also be involved with the PGL and the CPM team to have a discussion and say, hey, is this guy worthy being an MVP? Those kind of things. Okay, good. So how can I find an MVP? For example, if I'm willing to nominate an MVP, how can I find an MVP? So it can be on online or offline communities. Maybe I just saw you somewhere sharing some knowledge about Microsoft products, and I'm like, oh, this guy is cool, and I think he can be a future MVP. So it can be on social media posts, forums, online events, mentoring, organizing events. You can be training people like I am. I'm a technical trainer. You can write books. You can do open source projects, create host and speak on podcasts, write blogs like I do, create videos like Uganda, host a user group like Kemboy and all the guys who are active on uh, Kenya Data Platform, or you can give product feedback. Okay. Or you can be a public speaker. So this is a good way where we can find MVPs. So if I'm looking for an MVP to nominate, this is where I'll be checking. So let's talk about nominee insights. Okay. So these are do's and don'ts, um, which if I have identified you as an MVP, you want to fill in the form to do to be nominated as an MVP. So which are the things which will make you fail and which will make you successful? So um technical content. So this is where I'm talking about technical first. So you should be someone who is technical. And technical is across the board. So you can't be just be speaking in an event and you're not technical. So you must be technical because if you're speaking about Microsoft Word, you must be technical about Microsoft Word. So you must be a technical first um, person and then other things. So are you reaching out to diverse communities? Uh, Diverse is a word you can Google and see. So it entails a lot of things which I'm not going into, but that's something you should do. So alignments to two times technical areas. So you should align yourself at most to two technical areas, as we have said. You should have a description of your activity which you're being nominated into. So if you hosted an event, you should have a description about how the event was and what was the aim and those. Reach numbers. So these are the metrics you can measure how your event was impactful and those kind of things. Okay. So limited. So what are the things which will make you not be successful in this journey? So limited technical content. So you have one or two technical content and then that's it. You're not going to go through. So you have provided links about blogs which are not working, links about videos which are not working. You won't go anywhere. You have zero reach numbers. As I said, an impactful number must be greater than zero. So you have a good blog, but it has zero numbers um, of views. Yeah. So not adding all contributions. Okay. So you have just shared 5 contributions after I've nominated you. You won't become an MVP. Limited description. So you have not added enough description about your events. You will fail. You have not aligned yourself to the correct technology area. For example, you had an event about AI and you are adding it, you are forcing it into a technology area which is not about AI. That's not a good contribution. So keep this in mind. Um, Nominee submitting contributions. So I would say this is one of the important slide which you should keep in mind. Um, think about quality more than quantity. So you can host 200 events, but they have low quality. So think about quantity and quality, and always think that you need to prioritize quality over quantity. Okay. For example, you have 200 events and on it in those 200 events, 2 people joined. That is quantity being greater than quality. You have 10 events and all those 10 events, 20 people join. that is good. You have 5 events and 200 people joined in those 5 events. That's quality. Cool. So technical depth. So I don't know how I can explain technical depth, but if you're going to be an MVP, you must be technical in that technology. You have to lead the official documentations, be good at it, just be just have a depth in your technical knowledge in terms of that technology. So create a label, include rich numbers, views, subscribers, give us context, tell us what it matters, don't assume we know. Yeah. Something else that people fail to do is when you're describing your activity, you assume that whoever is going to read it knows about it. So you just give few context about the activity, that it doesn't give the full picture of your activity, because whoever is reviewing your work is not going to watch all your videos. Maybe your videos are 2 hours. No one is going to watch the 2 hours video. So you need to make sure that the description is trying to help whoever is reviewing your content in a better way. Add URLs which are relevant to that, and aggregate your contributions into one activity. So, yeah, so I think this is well understood. I hope I have explained this part well. Cool. I think I've answered most of the questions, which I think you guys can benefit from this. I know the call is a little bit short, so I'm open to questions about MVP. As I wish you a happy Christmas and New Year. So that's my bio. Yeah. Any questions, areas maybe I can go back into? Yes, Kemboy.
Okay, in your presentation, you made in-depth explanation to several things, and I would like to ask more specifically to somebody who is not a Microsoft Learn student ambassador. So, like for instance, in other countries, you'll find that the entire community of those countries are more familiar about the program. But when you come to Africa, now let's say to Kenya, it's only a few people who knows about the program. So how can somebody who is not a Microsoft Learn student ambassador get to know about the MVP program? And if somebody gets to know, like, how can he keep the track? Like, where do they place those activities? And can you like give a guide for somebody who maybe is not in that program? It will be very helpful for somebody who is in this call, not an MLSA, but now want to attribute his contributions aiming to become an MVP. Thank you.
Okay, good question, Kemboy. So the first thing, if you just search on anything on your browser, just write MVP program. You'll find there is a page there you can go, and you shall see a lot of explanation about what is an MVP, how to become an MVP. You'll find a lot of content about the MVP program. That's the easiest way to do it, because even if um let me say, even if you're not an MLSA, you can Google, so that information is out there. Okay, that's the first point. Two, the MVP program does not require you to be an MLSA. I think that's a myth with local communities who think that you need to become an MLSA to become an MVP. There's nothing like that. As I said, there are few MLSAs who are MVP. So, and the folks who are MVP, most of them are not MLSAs. So there is nothing, it's only that when you're an MLSA, you are part of some communities already there, okay? Probably created by people who are before you, who are previous MLSs. So you have like communities which you can pick up and try to um, share some information or share some technical information or content to the community. But if you're not an MLSA, you also have a chance to create your own community and share technical content pertaining Microsoft products. The other thing is these communities, which MLSAs are part of, for example, my user group, um, or not my user group, but our user group. Let me correct that. Our user group does not require you to be an MLSA. So it's a user group which you can join. There is nowhere in that user group we have written that you can only do this if you're an MLSA. Nope. So if you are someone who is not MLSA, you can join any user group or you can create a user group. And when I say user group is a community of individuals who are interested to learn Microsoft product or any technical products or anything to do with tech, that is programming, AI, machine learning, name it. So I think I have answered both questions, Kemboy.
Yeah, you've answered it. So but the only part that remains is how can they keep track of it? Like somebody may have done something for like 5 months. How can they backtrack to say this is what I did in the first month, second month, so that they can attribute to that on their nominations?
So anything you do, you have to have a link to answer. So you're writing blogs, you have to have a link to that blog. You're creating content, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, it's stored in your OneDrive. You have to have a link to showcase that, okay? And these links should showcase the impact of that video or content you're creating. How do I mean by impact? It should have a kind of metric to measure that impact. As I said in the beginning, you have a blog. It should showcase the number of views. They should showcase the number of comments. They should showcase the number of likes. That is the way you can measure impact in terms of engagement. So this is not only to one's blogs, but also videos, but also community engagement. You have posted some content on LinkedIn about um, a Microsoft product, and it has a lot of engagement. So you can become what we talked about. Let me show you. That is part of influencers. So active on social media, you have shared some information like, hey guys, um, there's there's this SDK about Azure Cosmos DB. So there's this JavaScript SDK and these are the methods. So you have just written a small article on LinkedIn and a lot of people have engaged with that. They have shared their comments there. It have become a discussion. That is part of being an influencer. Okay. So you just need to right click on that and copy the link. As simple as that. So it's a post you have shared, but it has a lot of engagement, which you think it's the best. For example, you just need to know that when you're being nominated for an MVP, you're not going to submit 1,000 contributions. There's a limit. I'm not going to say the number, but there's a limit of the things you're supposed to, the number of items you're supposed to share. So they should be your best. So you don't have, if you have just shared a post on Twitter and then it has like 2 or 3 engagement comments and probably 3 links, that is not your highest or your best influencer contribution, right? So you need to think of quality and a metric to kind of um, showcase your impact. So I can see there's another question. How does the MVP program make it easy for introvert community advocates to contribute through writing blogs? Um, how does the MVP program make it easy? Um, okay, the MVP program does not make it easy for introverts to become community advocates. I can't understand your question, but if that's how it is, um, if you're an introvert, let's say you're not good at speaking in public events, there are other ways on this slide I've shared you can do. Okay, you can write blogs. You can become a community organizer for events. You know, if you're an organizer and you don't want to speak, that's cool. You can answer questions on um, forums. You can contribute to open source. You know, on GitHub, you don't speak to anyone. It's your code pushing and pulling. So, so the MVP program is welcome to all. What that means is that you don't have to be good in all these things I'm talking about. You can just be good in one and create your contributions towards that. And then those are the things you share. Also, you can be good at everything. They also welcome at that for something like that. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any other question? Okay. So if that's all about the questions, I think we're about to end the call. So I wish you guys all a good time, especially this month for December. I'm looking forward to seeing most of you guys becoming MVPs. And also being active on your communities, because the main goal is not becoming MVP, is impacting your community. And then if you are active in these communities, sharing technical knowledge in these communities, Microsoft will reward you as becoming an MVP. You'll have something like this. It's a trophy. It's made of glass, and it has your year of contribution. Like this is 2024. This is when I became an MVP. So you see, I have a long way to go. So there are some folks with these rings for every year for the last 10 years or 12. So I have just one. So I'm just getting started. Okay, so I hope to see more folks become MVPs. That's how I can be happy. I hope to see more folks becoming um, gold MLSAs, being leaders, becoming new MLSAs. But the main goal is attributing your contributions to once, at most two technologies. So if you're active, you need to think of your main dish and um, dessert. So your main dish should be at most two. And also don't think about the MVP program first. Think of your impact to the community first. Other things will just come. You'll find yourself becoming an MVP. MVPs knows themselves even before they are MVPs. You'll feel like I'm an MVP material even before you are nominated because you have done things in the community. You feel like it's now time to be nominated. But if you're not an MVP yet, you will feel it in yourself because probably even you don't have contributions. You're just getting into the community of not done something extra in the community. So think of doing something cool in the community first before even asking for people to nominate you. That's the way to go. So on LinkedIn, if you have a post, that would go towards that will go towards more of community influencer more than a blog. So a blog should be a blog, as simple as that. But on LinkedIn, there is somewhere you can write an article. I think that can be a blog. Yeah. So as an MVP, do you have any edge over over other applications for an open position at Microsoft? Um, um, I don't think so. I don't think whether you'll be, in Microsoft, you're not prioritized to become a Microsoft full-time employee because you're an MVP or MLSA. You have to go through the recruitment process. But when you're an MVP, you're given a recommendation letter from the MVP program. So that's a good thing. When you are gold MLSA, you're given recommendation letter by the MLSA program. Okay. So these are recommendation letters which the recruiter will be like, oh, so if the MVP program thinks Brian Kemboy is a good software engineer, oh, we should put this under consideration. But Kemboy has to go ahead and pass the interview. It's as simple as that. So there's no shortcut in becoming a Microsoft full-time employee. You have to be that. But if you're an MVP or you're gold MLSA or you're MLSA, you'll especially gold because you'll have that letter. Because whoever is a gold MLSA has done some few things which are cool in the community, right? Whoever is an MVP has done something cool also uh, in the community. Whoever is an MLSA also have done something cool in the community. So when you're applying for a full-time um, role in MLSA, these are the things you say on your CV. So the recruiter will be impressed, of course. So I'm waiting for someone who is chatting there. Uh, if it's a question I'm going to answer, but we're going to end in the next 1 minute. Okay. Entry mention benefits on becoming an MVP. There are a lot. Um, I can mention all of them, but let me see. Let me just confirm them because there are a lot. I can just mention a few. Okay. So benefits of becoming an MVP. I can't share my screen, but I want just to mention some few. One of them is as an MVP, you are a leader in the community. So if you're applying for any job, um, whoever is recruiting you as an employee will be happy to have a leader in his team or her team. So that's the first, I think, and the biggest benefit, which can just cut across everyone. So MVPs are leaders. The second thing, MVPs are technical experts. So you only become an MVP if Microsoft recognizes your expertise in terms of technology. So any MVP he has qualities of being technical. So those are the two major ones. But I know you're asking about benefits like Azure credits. So just like MLSs, MVPs has Azure credits, which can go as far as 15,000 um, dollars worth credits for Azure. So MVPs and also MLSs, they have an advantage of using Microsoft products on Azure for free. But for the MVP now, I know the MLS, is it 100 or 200? For the MVP, you're given 150, but if you have needs which need you to expound all the way to 15,000, you're also given that requests. So other benefits are mostly apps. You have LinkedIn Premium, you have GitHub Pro and Copilot Pro. You have Champ Premium. So Champ is used to edit videos. You have Microsoft 365 Copilot. You have also exam voucher, which you can use every year. Um, you're given the award kits. You have their third-party offers. You're given um, Microsoft Visual Studio benefits. So you can use like Visual Studio Professional. I know some of MLSs know the Microsoft Visual Studio benefits. Um, you get a lot of um, licenses for Microsoft products. Copilot, we have like 20, not 20, but 10 Copilot licenses you can use for Studio, for Service, for Sales, for Finance. We have a lot of Dynamic 365 access and tools. You get those things for Premium and Power Platform. All those are benefits you get as MVP. I can't go through everything. There are a lot. So again, probably you won't use everything. You will only use the things you feel they align to us. Uh, Whatever you're doing. Also, Kimbo is talking about the MVP Summit, which happens in America. So you can fly there or you can join online. So where you have all the MVPs together. And then there's also this big picture with names of MVPs. I'm yet to find the picture. It's in America, but people usually takes it like a photo where you have all the MVPs in the world. Yeah, so you also have access to Microsoft um product team. These are the engineers, these are the product managers, there's a crowd advocates around uh, Microsoft products who you can engage, talk with, give feedback, all these. You're also invited to PGI calls. So PGI calls with this product team where you discuss about new new features in these applications before even they are out for general availability to normal people. So you can an MVP can know something which will happen about Microsoft Teams like 6 months even before it's out. You see, so you get this eye access, this kind of eye interaction with these products. Yep. So you're also invited to speak in Microsoft events, third-party events which Microsoft are funding. Um, you get a lot of benefits in speaking in events, by the way. And also you also get benefits to speak in Microsoft events like the Reactors, the Microsoft Ignite, all these things. You get access to writing blogs, which also even a student you can do on Microsoft platforms. You can do a lot of things as an MVP. There are a lot that even sometimes you get overwhelmed to answer these. Yeah. And also if you're a developer or you're looking for a job, you get a recommendation letter. So you can always attach it with your CV and try to get the next job. I think that's all from me. I hope I have answered all the questions. Thank you guys for showing up. Um, yeah, the MVP summit is very exciting. So all MVPs go to America, but These days we are a lot that even now there's an option for joining the call online because we are 3,000 plus. So fitting 3,000 plus in a room, it's a lot. And we want more MVPs, by the way. I'm looking forward to nominating some folks on this call. But I hope I have broken down everything. So see you guys. Have a nice holiday. I hope next year you start an year which is more focused. You know what to do now. And I'll be happy to nominate you. Thank you.